famous original chicken, or the classic Whopper, both served with delicious crispy fries and a small drink for our lowest price in years. Available at all our locations on island. And don't forget 7 Mile Beach and Red Bay are open till midnight Thursdays and 1 a.m. Fridays and Saturdays. Burger King, have it your way.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more info.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. How is everybody doing today? I can say that I'm quite excited to be here this morning. Last night I was absolutely buzzing. We had the debates last night with Georgetown West and Georgetown East, and it was a pretty successful night overall, so I'm quite pleased with how everything went. I'm super pleased with how the moderators were able to carry off the evening and for all the candidates that showed up. And one of those candidates is in here in studio with me this morning, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Hunter Walton, who is an independent candidate for Georgetown West. Good morning, Hunter. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, and good morning to the listeners, and thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, you know, it's a segment that we give all the candidates. They're able to come and talk for about almost 15 minutes, let us know who they are, introduce themselves to the listeners, your platforms, your priorities for Georgetown West. But I think even before we go there, you were on the debates last night.
Yeah.
So how was that experience for you?
It was good. I prepared for it, and I think it went well. I think I did a good job. Hopefully the listeners get a chance to go back and look at the debate. Unfortunately, all of my opponents weren't there last night. But however, it was good. It was constructive, and I had a good time. You know.
Would you have liked to seen all the opponents? Did that speak something to you?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd like to see more debates throughout the campaign season in general. I know that we just have the Radio Cayman debates and the chamber debates. But
Chamber forum. They're forums.
The chamber forum, it's not even really a debate. But I think it is necessary for the political process that we get the opportunity to see how our candidates debate, the ideas that they're bringing forward. So hopefully it's an initiative that we can see more of in the future. But altogether, I think it was a great experience, and I'm excited. You know, this is my first election running as a candidate. It's been a learning experience to say the least, and especially as an independent candidate, I have faced some challenges. But you know, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to deal with challenges and hopefully drive this country forward.
It is your first time running in elections, and as you pointed out, you are a younger candidate, so I think you're 28 years old, correct?
Yeah, 28.
And I think it's admirable because it shows that you have a care and concern for your country, and you want to see it move forward in certain ways, for sure. So let us know what motivated you to run for general elections.
What motivated me? Well, like you said, it's my country. I'm a Caymanian, born and raised. Both my parents are Caymanian. One from North Side, the other from Cayman Brac. And this is home. This is the only place I know. Like I said, nowhere to run. So to see Cayman moving in the direction that it's moving today, I decided, if you want something done right, it's better to do it yourself. And being an entrepreneur and someone who's used to taking risks, per se, I decided that, it's in the best interest of myself and the country, my friends, my family, the people of Georgetown West, to step forward and be involved. And I hope that the younger generation see what I'm doing and it inspires them to be involved as well. Because even if I'm not the one to make the change, it's us who have to fight for our future. So I hope to continue to inspire young people. I hope to be a part of the change, whether or not I'm elected. Moving forward, so far, I think I'll definitely try it again. I'd like to work with a team of young individuals and continue to fight this good fight.
I think it's important to have, I want to say, younger representation within Parliament.
Absolutely.
And you do spark conversation amongst the younger generation. So the younger millennials and Gen Z, absolutely, you're sparking conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I see that on social media.
Oh, yeah. There's a
So,
lot there.
and the thing about that is just making people realize what they can do and what the possibilities are.
Exactly.
So showing that, I think, is important. And you, as you did point out, you are an entrepreneur. So you did work, I don't know if it was in the private sector or the public sector, but that was during COVID. I think a bit of your background story. That's what I want to hear from you right now, is a bit of your background story and how you became an entrepreneur.
Okay, so before COVID, I was working in the water sports industry.
Okay.
I was working as a tour operator, doing Stingray City, snorkeling, Starfish Point tours, jet ski tours, fishing charters, and I also have my captain's license. So I was working on private yachts all over the world. So I was actually stationed in France prior to COVID actually happening. But of course, the country being under lockdown, I lost my job due to COVID. So it was like a fresh start after COVID. And because I was in water sports, and this is interesting, I'm glad I get the opportunity to share this with the public, is because I lost my job and I was in water sports, I was given a stipend. I don't know if you remember the tourism stipend.
Absolutely.
I think it was about $1,200 at the time. And all I had to my name was a small 14-foot aluminum fishing boat and a little short bed pickup truck. And I would go fishing every day, right? And I would come back in, I would sell the fish, and to buy, more supplies for my boat or my truck, I started advertising garbage removals on EK-Trade. So I would pick up loads of garbage for $35 and then go out fishing and catching wahoo and all kind of stuff by myself. And that business took off. I started finding myself on the land all day long, picking up garbage and moving little small articles of furniture. And I decided to continue with the stipend helping me as well. I invested in a larger truck and I got into the moving industry, and that business took off, and I was doing well. And I was looking forward to the future, trying to buy a piece of land at this point. And then, of course, the prices shot up. And it was a loss.
You mean for land?
Oh, for land, for houses,
Yes.
in general.
Yeah.
So I was in a good position. I was making good money. I was supporting myself. And I was able to save money, apply for the loan. And it took something like 3 months for the bank to get back to me. By the time they got back to me, cash buyer bought up the land. All my hopes of owning a house or owning a piece of land in Cayman just went out the window. And unfortunately, that's the reality for a lot of young Caymanians now, is that if you didn't get a piece of land before COVID or a house before COVID, it's just simply out of reach.
It's a lot harder. That is for sure.
Yeah.
And interest rates had shot up, and they came down by, was it 1% or 0.75% in the final quarter of 2024?
5 or something.
It was either 1% or 0.75. I can't remember off the bat right now. But it's not looking to come down again. It was projected to come down another % this year, if not a little bit more than that. And now the Federal Reserve has said, nope, we're going to put a hold on this because of the economic situation in the U.S. right now and how that's going to trickle back to Cayman tenfold.
We have a lot of regional instability right now. So we're not sure what the future holds. And
global instability, I would say.
Well, global, but I mean, recently the attention's been on the Caribbean. I don't know if you heard about the recent proposal for the taxation of all Chinese-built ships.
Yeah.
That will indefinitely affect the Cayman Islands and our regional partners. So some of the things I mentioned last night were building these trade relationships with our regional partners. It's going to become, right now it may not be necessary, but, foreseeing the future, it may be something that we have to look at, and it's going to require strong, bold leadership.
Yes.
Now more than ever, we need people to step outside the box and think outside the box, because the situation has gotten desperate in Cayman, and I can tell you young people are fed up. That's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's turn to your constituency of Georgetown West.
Okay.
Have you been active within the community? Have you been hitting the ground and talking to your constituents?
Well, I mean, in terms of activity, I would say I'm the most active. I've been campaigning since last year, February. I remember on the radio, people were talking about, oh, we want to see our candidates, we want to see our candidates. And I said, you know what, I'm going to step forward. And I was out, I was talking to people, I was all over the radios, and getting active in my community. I was doing some cleanups for people. I was also donating furniture. I'd always get good furniture, and I furnished a few houses within Windsor Park. I have some people that can, confirm that. And just studying and getting myself ready for this moment. I think I've come a long way. I think I'm ready, and I would love to give Georgetown West the leadership they deserve.
What are you hearing are the most pressing issues for Georgetown West?
Well, in the Windsor Park area, flooding is a serious issue. It's been an issue for longer than I've been alive. A lot of these issues have been around for longer than I've been alive, and this is where it comes down to bold leadership and thinking outside the box. I do have a solution for flooding, but we don't have much time, unfortunately. Additionally, just waste management. It's a very condensed area, and we have a lot of people living in Georgetown West, and you can see the traffic the garbage is all over the road, and it's a mess. So we really need to work on trying to keep our little constituency cleaned, as well as traffic. We don't have the big traffic that some people do in the Eastern District, and I am looking out for them. But with all of the tenants and people living in Georgetown West, we do have a lot of traffic leaving in the morning, people trying to get out to work, bicycles. I'm really concerned about the bicycles and the pedestrians. I want to focus on walkability of our neighborhood, and these are some of the pressing issues within Georgetown West. The rest would be more family based and how we can build back our families, uplift our youth, and housing affordability. Unfortunately, within Georgetown West is an extremely difficult one. So that's going to take some different approaches, I think.
I think those are some great ideas and starting points for sure. I live in Georgetown West, so when it comes to
here we go.
when it comes to some of the points you were talking about, I completely agree, especially like the walkability
Absolutely.
of it. And for me, safety is a big concern right now.
Yeah.
Because crime has risen considerably within Georgetown West. So
well, I can tell you, growing up in Georgetown West, unfortunately, a lot of the people committing the crimes are Caymanian people. I've lost a few friends to violent crime in the last years. And these are some of the things that have made me think about getting involved in politics. And it's really sad. It's really sad to see that our people are having to go this way. And it's due to weak leadership and lack of enforcement that these people aren't able to take, the right path.
what about opportunity?
Wow.
Because, look at your situation. So you were down and out when you lost your job during COVID, but you didn't turn to crime necessarily. You turned to hustle and entrepreneurship. You said, okay, how can I make some money a legal way? And that's what you did.
But
so when
you're
it comes to
forgetting-
opportunities for younger people, do you think that's present?
No. I may have done it, but you're forgetting one thing. I had government support.
Right, that's
so
true.
if
That's
I
true.
did not, and I'm going to look at, this is the camera.
That's one of them.
I'm going to look at the camera and I'm going to say this to you guys. If I didn't have that government support, I don't know where I would be today. I would probably be among the same ones committing the crimes and taking the dark path. And it's because of lack of opportunity. We need to step up and we need to support our young people and give them those chances. Because if I didn't get that chance, I don't know where I'd be today. And I'm very grateful for it. And, I just hope that I can give back to my community. Because I've come from so far with a little bit of help. I've started a moving company that was extremely successful. I started a coffee shop business. I'm moving into the charter industry now, which is where I originally was. That's where I love to be. And, that little push, that little support from government can do so much to change a man's life. And, I hope to be able to facilitate that for our Caymanian people.
Now you got maybe 1 minute left. So if there's any other points you want to leave with our listeners, take the time to do so now.
Well, this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. I'm so excited. In terms of inspiring young people, I see a lot of young people stepping up to the plate. And hopefully we can organize and we can work together. And a lot of people aren't prepared now, but there are some good individuals that are looking into politics. And, who knows? We might have a real deal grassroots party by next election. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to form a party with some young people. Even if I'm not the head of it or anything, or even running as a member, I would love to be a part of it. It needs to be a movement by our people from the heart to better this country. And I think that's the only way Cayman's going to get better at this point. And that's why I chose to be independent, because I didn't want to be tied to, party loyalty. We see it all the time. Candidates will make promises and promises and promises towards their constituency, and then at the end of the day, they have to answer to the party because, that's who they have to be loyal to. So that's why I decided to stay independent this time. But next time, I will be looking to be working with a team. But again, I'd like to see something from the grassroots movement, people who feel our pain. So I think it's definitely going to have to come from the young people.
All right, understood. Now, if people want to find out more about you, can you direct them to whether it's social media channels, ways to get in touch with you?
Well, in today's world, we're all about social media. So you can find me on Facebook at Hunter Walton. On Facebook, my Instagram is Hunter #4, because I'm number 4 on the ballot, GTW. So Hunter 4 GTW on Instagram. My number is 924-2775. That's 924-2775. You can call me anytime. I'm here to answer to the people. I want to help you guys. So feel free to call me or reach out to me at any of these channels.
All right, great. Thank you so much for joining us on The Buzz this morning. We're going to go to a commercial break.
Was a paid political broadcast.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked. You can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. And if you were with us in the very first segment, we had independent candidate for Georgetown West, Mr. Hunter Walton, joining us on the show. And now we are turning to, it is currently our Deputy Premier and Minister for Tourism. I believe he's still keeping the minister position at least until Election Day. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Kenneth Bryan, who is also incumbent and candidate for Georgetown Central. Good morning, Mr. Bryan.
Good morning, Kathy, and thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
It's great to have you. I am tired, but I'm up and I'm at it. So happy to be here. How are you doing?
I'm tired too. I've been campaigning for days and weeks now.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. And good morning to everybody in Radio Land and Radio Cayman and all your amazing followers. The reason I'm on the show this morning is to welcome everybody or invite everybody to a public meeting. Myself, an honorable leader of the opposition and leader of the PPM. We're having a public meeting tonight. I think a highly anticipated meeting between myself and the honorable leader, Joey Hugh, which would be leader and deputy leader of the party. And we're having that at Sandbar, right next to Royal Walton Terminal. There's a nice, beautiful open lot there that overlooks the ocean. We're going to have a public meeting tonight, and we're inviting everybody out at 7 p.m., obviously speaking about the future and the issues that face the people of the country and what we plan to do about them to give a better quality of life. So we're really inviting everybody out to, Georgetown Central and Georgetown North. Just share one road, a dividing road, which is Rockhole Road and North Sound Way. And we're very close in our communities, have a very good diversity of Caymanians across it, from all the way up the Governor's House all the way down to Tropical Gardens. So we have very unique communities in our area, so we're really excited about being able to talk about the variety of issues that face the people, from unemployment to crime, to the economy, to immigration, cost of living, and speak about those issues. So we're inviting everybody to come out. We're really hoping for a pretty large turnout tonight to talk about the future. And obviously we're going to have some of our colleague candidates that are going to be there. So particularly from the Georgetown area. We're going to have some light refreshments as per allowed in the law. So I would invite everybody to come out and share evening with us.
All right. Well, I think you're going to have a good turnout as well. Sandbar is a great location. There's plenty of parking right across the street as well. So we can't forget about that in case people are worried about the parking situation. Never fear. I want to touch on your past 4 years here in Parliament and what changes you may have seen come from your constituents. Are they feeling deeper struggles in some other levels, or are they experiencing new struggles that you're hoping to address if you were elected in these next 4 years?
Well, yeah, obviously life is definitely not the same as it was before for Cayman, and I think it's because one of the biggest things is cost of living and the effects of unbridled immigration system, which has caused many, many issues, from traffic, heavy pressures on the housing availability, which has obviously increased the high cost. Sad to say, but even a little corner room in somebody's house is like going for $1,500, as opposed to what it was, 7-8 years ago. You can get a decent two-bedroom apartment for about the same price.
Yep.
So And it's also, I hate to say this too, but affected crime. We've, for the first time in a long time, started to see a lot of persons involved in criminality being non-Caymanian, which tells us that we're not doing very good at our borders in respect to controls, either through immigration or through the Coast Guard. So those are some things that we would be focusing on. Obviously, it affects traffic. It does affect employment for Caymanians. Employment is almost at 5% amongst Caymanians. Unemployment is about 5% amongst Caymanians now, which is definitely too high when you definitely have more jobs than you have Caymanians. So immigration and cost of living is two of the things that are probably at the top of the concern list for the people of Georgetown Central, and I think the Greater Cayman Islands. As for cost of living, obviously food is a major one, but rent, housing availability, health insurance, and housing insurance is another major one that we intend to address. Minimum wage, another simple one, but I'm very happy to say that we already agreed that within the first 100 days that we'll be able to implement a increase in the minimum wage. So it's things like that I'm so happy to be a part of a team now that is committed together to an agreed plan, not only for the short term over a 4-year period, but building for the next 20 years. Because a lot of the issues that we're facing are systematic too. Lack of planning. When you think about the housing availability, we've allowed immigration to be so loose and so abused, and allowed development and growth to happen so fast. Now, it's like a two-edged sword. I mean, of course, you get the benefits of the growth of the economy, but if you don't plan for that growth, that population increase, you have the chaos that you have now with housing availability. And that's where things like the East-West Arterial and proper housing development initiatives with private sector to make sure that your room stock is growing as fast as your economy. I mean, as the Minister of Tourism, it worries me every time. I do a good job, get tourists here. The tourism industry needs more labor. And every time a hotel opens, that's another 200 employees that needs to be available to carry out the tourism industry. Where are those 200 people going to live? Even if you were to say 2 of those per room, that's 100 rooms. If you, in such a small island, when you add the need for another 100 rooms, you've automatically increased the cost of availability. It's a supply and demand principle. The more people that need a product or a service that's in limited supply, the price shoots up. And those are the types of problems that we're seeing the effects of, lack of planning, and that's why a proper national plan will be our key focus. And we're really excited about the things that we've come up together as a team, a good diverse team of fresh blood and experience, proven experience. I'm happy to say that because if you think about the People's Progressive Movement, it's the only group that has been proven that in a very difficult time have been able to keep the country stable. The last one that most people would probably remember is during the COVID lockdown. It was a global situation that no leader could have been prepared for, but they were able to, keep the country safe. Obviously, myself and others came in and opened the country up. I think the whole country should be proud of all members involved in the closing and opening. But if you even go back a little bit further to the recession back in 2008, 2009, being able to manage through that when the country's finances were shot and very limited. We had circumstances where the UK had to get involved, and we had the restrictions on our ability to spend. They were able to get through that without doing stuff like some of the other parties are suggesting, like selling Cayman Airways or selling the Water Authority.
Or Radio Cayman.
Or selling Radio Cayman, exactly. What a good one. But my point is that it takes strong leadership with experience and a steady hand at the wheel to not panic and not do drastic things like that. And I think if you look at the landscape today, the People's Progressive Movement are the only ones who can say on their resume, I've been through hard times, I didn't quit, I didn't decide to sell everything off, and the only group that has a diversity, and I think that we offer a good balance of male and female, experience, old and new, from different backgrounds, from business, from community level. I think if the public were to look closely at our group and our offerings, we would be able to have the mindset and the character to address all the issues, the variety of issues that's facing the people, whether it be community or business related, whether it be national or constituency level, or even regional and global, from a financial services perspective or a tourism perspective. And that's why I'm excited. Obviously, most people would remember that I was an independent member, but I learned really quickly within the 4 years of being as a cabinet minister that you can't have a group that is not cohesive, not united, not going all in the same direction, because you end up pulling each other different places, and then you don't actually move from the position that you're at. And the people that suffer are the Caymanian people, because our job is to go in there and find solutions to move us forward in a positive direction. And I'm happy to say that the group that we're with, we're all cohesive on that plan, and there's enough leadership experience to keep us disciplined on those focused solutions. So from day one on May 1st, I think the public can feel comfort when a PPM government is selected and elected, that you'll have a group of people focused on a game plan, because obviously things will take time, some shorter than others. I think there's some successful things we're going to be able to do in 90 days. Some things we can be able to deliver within a year. Some things we'll be able to do over the 4-year term. But as I said before, it's about doing the short-term, medium-term, and long-term planning so that your children and grandchildren know how to deal with this, like the East-West Arterial, like the decentralization plan, like the National Development Plan, where we're going to be, our immigration policies to make sure our employment is successful and beneficial to Caymanians and not just to the labor market. Because the unbridled, loose approach to immigration is what I think is affecting us so much. But you want specialists that can look at that from the economic perspective and the effects on society of how tight the immigration system needs to be, because you need, obviously the business community needs available labor because there's not enough of us. But that delicate balance needs people with experience understanding the economy in order to deliver a good quality of life for the people. So you can tell that we understand the issues. We have the experience to address them and the commitment to address them. And that's what really excites me. I mean, I was having a meeting the other night, and I was saying to myself, at the start of the election season, I was worried because the global landscape, particularly with President of the Free World, I won't call his name, and the actions happening there, and other regional leaders responding, is obviously affecting the global markets. I'm worried what's going to happen to even further cost of living.
Right. Mr. Bryan, I have to interrupt you because we do have to go to our 8 a.m. news. Okay. But I agree with you on several points. You've made some excellent points during your short segment with us this morning. And I just want you to remind people that you do have a meeting for Georgetown Central and Georgetown North this evening. Give us the details one more time.
Yeah, I apologize for talking so much. Yeah,
no, you're great. I love it.
Out tonight, myself, the deputy leader for PPM, and our leader, Joseph Hugh, we're having a public meeting tonight at 7 p.m. at the Sandbar, which is right next to the Royal Walton Cruise Terminal and the Sandbar restaurant right there in the open parking lot. There'll be loads of parking downtown because after 5:30, everybody leaves town. So come on out and hear our vision for the future.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us on The Buzz this morning. We're going to go to the 8 a.m. news, and after the news, I will be speaking with Cayman Finance.
The proceeding was a paid political broadcast.
Radio Cayman time check now 8:02. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and Airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
the voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The Crown continues to present its case against a couple charged with trying to import drugs through FedEx. Radio Cayman's Jevi Ebanks brings us the details.
Dorman Salmon and Renee Hamilton, charged with imported ganja and fentanyl, are on trial in the Grand Court. They deny any charges following their arrest by Customs and Border Control, who discovered drugs hidden in a package addressed to Mr. Salmon. Ms. Hamilton was arrested after collecting the package, claiming ignorance of its contents. Evidence presented includes drug traces found during a home search, receipts for overseas money transfers, and phone communications discussing marijuana strains, payments, and shipments. The Crown argues that the defendants knew the packages contained drugs, citing a CBC press release referenced in their messages. A CBC officer testified about the controlled delivery that led to the arrest. Cross-examination continues today, with the trial expected to last at least another week. Jevi Ebanks, Radio Cayman News.
The National Conservation Council's first meeting of the year isn't happening as scheduled. During the previous meeting, the council set tomorrow as the next meeting date. However, due to a judicial review of recent cabinet appointments, the NCC's meetings and decisions have been, quote, temporarily delayed, according to one member. In February, government announced that 7 members of the board had been replaced, including the chairman. The minister at the time described the move as a, quote, better balance for the community on a whole and be seen to be fair for all. The following week, the lawyer for 2 members who'd been replaced notified the cabinet secretary and the attorney general of pre-action protocol for a judicial review of cabinet's decision. The letter described the new member appointments as the, quote, latest in a series of efforts by the current cabinet to weaken the NCC's ability to perform its statutory function of promoting conservation. They requested that the decision be revoked, calling it unlawful, indicating that if not, they would seek a judicial review. And big moves at the DVDL paving the way for gender equality. Here's CIDTV's Kafara Augustin.
The Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing has made history by hiring its first full-time female vehicle inspector and driving examiner. Julissa Avila, formerly a licensing officer, has stepped into this groundbreaking role, breaking barriers in a traditionally male-dominated field. DVDL Operations Manager Wendy Fisher praised Avila's dedication, calling her an inspiration for women in the industry. This milestone aligns with this year's International Women's Day theme, Accelerate Action, highlighting the push for gender equality in all sectors. The Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transport and Development, as well as the team at DVDL, congratulate Ms. Avila on her achievement, reinforcing the government's commitment to fostering an inclusive and diverse workforce.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Govinda Gill. A Sudanese war monitor has accused the military of killing hundreds of people in an airstrike on a market in North Darfur. The area is controlled by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, who've been fighting the army for nearly 2 years. Democrats in the United States have demanded an inquiry into how a journalist was allowed into a group chat discussing imminent airstrikes. Jeffrey Goldberg said he saw classified information about attacks on Houthi targets in Yemen. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says Monday's talks with the US mostly dealt with trying to protect shipping in the Black Sea. Moscow has so far refused to agree to a temporary ceasefire in Ukraine. The Israeli military has expanded its evacuation orders in Gaza, telling all residents in the northern border towns to leave. The IDF said Palestinian rockets were being fired from the area. Israel's military says a journalist it killed in an airstrike in Gaza on Monday was a Hamas sniper. Hussam Shabat worked for Al Jazeera, which has condemned the assassination. Sepp Blatter and Michel Platini, who were once the most powerful figures in world football, have been acquitted of fraud by a Swiss court. The case centred on a multi-million-dollar payment. Emergency workers are battling wildfires that have been burning out of control in South Korea for several days. Residents in the city of Andong have been told to evacuate. A new stadium will be built for the 2032 Olympics in Brisbane in Australia, despite previous promises not to do so. State officials said the venue would leave a lasting legacy rather than wasting money on temporary facilities. It will be the third time Australia has hosted the Olympics. That's the latest BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
All right, good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather update on this Tuesday, March 25th. Present temperature now 87 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly sunny on the outside. Winds are out of the east-northeast at 8 miles per hour. Relative humidity 88%. The barometric pressure is at 60.00 inches and dropping. Light to moderate winds and seas are expected for the next 24 hours in association with a ridge of high pressure across the northern Caribbean. Our forecast calls for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Later tonight, mostly clear skies becoming cloudier in the early morning with 30% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will fall to the low to mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're at a high tide. Low tide will be at 1:20 this afternoon. High again at 7:01 this evening. And the outlook is for fresh northeasterly winds and moderate to rough seas from Thursday as a high-pressure system builds over the southeastern United States. A small craft advisory is expected to be issued by Thursday evening. That, my friends, is your latest weather update brought to you by our friends at CG Britcay.
Hey, Bill. Glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Hi, this is Joey Hugh, leader of the PPM and candidate for Georgetown North.
I'm Kenneth Bryan, your PPM candidate for Georgetown Central.
Join us on Tuesday, March 25th at Sandbar for an important conversation about Cayman's future.
Come out and hear the issues that matter to you, the solutions we are ready to deliver.
Cayman needs proven, stable leadership. That's exactly what the PPM is about.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach. The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
All right, it's just about 14 minutes after 8 o'clock. Traffic has poured in mostly into the Georgetown area coming out of the eastern districts. Looking at the east-west arterial, traffic seems to be flowing until getting to the Red Bay roundabout, and still some traffic built up at the Century 21 roundabout just outside Hurley's. Slow-moving traffic continues on to the Linford Pearson and on Crew Road as well. Similar going through South Sound, turning up Walker's Road. Yes, you'll face some traffic pouring through there. Similar and going through Windsor Park. And Linford Pearson, Agnes Way, Crew Road onto Bobby Thompson Way, seeing some traffic as well. And going through South Church Street up to Seafarers Way, those still feeding and of course will dissipate as the morning progresses. Butterfield roundabout, seeing its busy usual traffic flow this time of the morning. Eastern Avenue got some light traffic. Shedden Road heading into West Georgetown into Seafarers Way seems to be moving pretty good at the moment. Edward Street, traffic flowing smoothly onto 4th Street and continuing on. And of course, taking a look out on the waterfront, we have one cruise ship in port, so we'll have some visitors ashore. Look out for those pedestrians getting out and about in the Georgetown area. Looking at the SLA Tibbets from the refuel gas station just outside of Ritz. Traffic seems to be flowing smoothly. Traffic in West Bay itself flowing smoothly. And in all districts, North Side, East End, Savannah, Breakers, traffic's flowing smoothly similarly as well. Kevin Brock, Lil K-Man, good morning to you. It's good to have you guys with us. Had too many accidents yesterday, so let's try to keep it to 0 today. All right, drive safely out there and stay safe. Your traffic report brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Alexander Selvin Eden, 1888 through 1985. Alexander Selvin Eden was a dedicated family man. He and his wife, Sarah Leonie Nee West, had 7 children, and their father made sure that they had the best education available. He loved to work the land and also raised livestock, providing steady employment for others. As a young man, he worked overseas on the construction of the Florida East Coast Railway, returning home after World War I. His major contribution was filling the void in transportation of goods and passengers between Georgetown and Bordentown, which he did with a horse-drawn carriage for 35 years in all kinds of conditions. The government called upon him for many duties in his district, including police service, tax collection, operation of the cattle dip to control ticks, service as foreman of roadworks, and as pound keeper, keeping stray cattle until their owners reclaim them, and the maintenance of telephone lines. He also served as a member of the Assembly of Justices and Vestry.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community, a traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz on Radio Cayman. I am your host, Kathy Miller, and today we are spotlighting Cayman Finance's LEAD program. It's an initiative creating opportunities for young Caymanians in the financial sector. And joining me in studio on this segment are Danielle Hennings, Associate Director at Cayman Finance, and Dayger Martinez-Taylor, a current intern, to share their insights on this transformative program. So welcome. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, thank you. Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I know we spoke off air about that. Tired, but I keep saying this, but tired, but here, excited. I still have a lot of just excitement buzzing in me from last night, and so it's carried on to this morning. And so here we are. So we're going to know a little bit about Cayman Finance. I just want to get a bit of a background for those who still may not know. Let us know the role that Cayman Finance plays in the community.
Absolutely. Happy to. So Cayman Finance as an organization started in 2003. So over 20 years ago. We're a nonprofit membership organization and also a public-private partnership. So we receive funding from the government, from the Ministry of Financial Services, as well as from our members, who are the firms working in the industry, serving clients all over the world. Our mission at Cayman Finance is to enhance the success of our members, our clients, and our community. And the ordering of those stakeholders are important. So our members, they obviously come first. We're a membership organization. Our clients, we wouldn't be here without clients. Our members wouldn't exist. But ultimately, our community is really important to us at Cayman Finance. And the whole reason the financial services industry was created was to create opportunities and jobs for Caymanians and for the Caymanian people. So the team at Cayman Finance, we all feel really passionate about our community and giving back in various ways, ensuring the industry continues to be successful, continues to thrive, because it makes such important contributions to Cayman and to our way of life. My role as Associate Director responsible for community engagement, I get to focus on that, 100%. That's my job, which is as rewarding as you would imagine it to be. And so days like today, where we get to come into the studio and talk about the LEAD program, try to encourage more students to participate, are really rewarding and exciting.
Well, tell us now about the LEAD program. It's celebrating a big milestone, right? 10 years. That's an amazing achievement so far. So tell us a little bit about that, what's involved.
Absolutely, happy to. So our LEAD program is geared at high school students in their second to last year. So it varies depending if you're in the British system or in the American system, or if you're in dual enrollment at UCCI, but that's kind of our target year group. And the idea is to introduce these high schoolers to the industry and the breadth of opportunities, career opportunities available within it. We recognize, and I think, I wasn't around 10 years ago when the program started in 2015, but I can imagine that, the Cayman Finance team at the time, the Ministry of Education, saw a need for a program that introduced students to the industry, because I think, growing up here, you'd be aware of your place in it in terms of if you wanted to study accounting or you wanted to study law, the opportunities are in abundance. But if you want to do something else, a different career path, we want you to feel like there's a place for you in the industry as well. Outside of those kind of major client-facing roles, there's a whole other world out there. And as you know, in financial services, our clients aren't based locally. We serve clients around the globe, and so high schoolers, for example, aren't our target market. They're not engaging with firms on a regular basis. So I think at the time they saw this great opportunity to introduce students to this whole other world, like I mentioned, is so important to our way of life here in Cayman, and encourage them to be able to see themselves in the industry one day. So how it's structured is that the students go through 8 weeks of workshops, one session per week, 8 weeks of mentorship. They're paired with somebody who works in the industry. And then finally, they get the opportunity to do a 4-week paid work placement during the summer. So it's not just work experience, it's more than that. You're prepared in advance in terms of your workshops. You're learning about the different sectors of the industry, some soft skills, and, kind of meeting with your mentor to mature, I guess, and to learn what it's like to work in financial services.
Right. Get some guidance along the way as well.
Absolutely.
I like that. When it comes to exposing what Cayman Finance does to the high schoolers, so they're in their last 2 years of high school or so, what are the questions or what piques their interest the most? So when you're going to them and saying these are the different opportunities, what does pique their interest the most?
Yeah, I think initially when we go and present and we talk about the program, like them just knowing that you don't have to necessarily studying accounting or law, and like you could still work in the industry. We have a particular slide we show with like all these different career paths, and there's probably like 20 different ones or 25.
Share some of them. Danielle.
Compliance. So working in compliance, working in marketing, working in human resources, working in IT, for example, working for the regulator, working in regulation, outside of what being a project manager, for example. So outside of what they perceive to be finance, which is accounting and finance probably, and just kind of sharing with them that there's more.
Right. I think we had a caller. I'm not sure. I can see the WhatsApp dinging away. So if we reach that caller in time, we can take the time. I think we do have the caller. All right. I heard some feedback there, but that's all good. All right. So good morning. Thank you for calling The Buzz.
The Buzz. Okay. What's the topic for today?
We're talking about Cayman Finance and their LEAD program.
Oh, Cayman Finance and the LEAD program. Okay. Well, my input would be about what you guys are doing about the phone system, like the pay-as-you-go and all of that. I think we are getting gouged by the pay-as-you-go. You don't think about that?
I don't know what that has to do anything with Cayman Finance and the LEAD program. So if you have a question that's particularly about that, we can take it.
No, well, it's not about that. I call back next time, okay?
No problem at all. You can call back at 9. I'm going to have an open line around then, okay?
Problem.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right, so not necessarily geared towards our topic what we're talking about right now, so I just want to make sure that when the callers or the comments do come in, that it really is about what we're talking about here with the LEAD program in Cayman Finance. Okay, so that last question that I had asked you was about the interests that high school, like what piques their interest for the high schoolers there, right? So knowing that they can go into all of these different career paths that still are within finance, does that make them come to you guys more and say, okay, hey, we'd like to try this out? Or
I think so. I think it allows them to feel like, they have an opportunity and that they could work in the industry in Cayman. Because I think, when you hear, even when we talk about Cayman Finance as an organization, you probably think we all are like studied finance or study accounting, which we haven't all. Promoting the industry, that's a lot of what we do. And so having a different background, having a marketing background, for example, is very helpful in what we do. And so it's like, not being deterred by by the title or the name to know that there's an opportunity there. So I think, when students apply for the program, we ask them to say what they're interested in, and their interest varies. We kind of give them a drop down. We give them different career paths, like what's already on your mind, because you can imagine at that age, they've largely decided what they're going to do, what they want to study, right? Like they already have this idea of what their future looks like. And so what we're hoping to do is maybe introduce them to other options. Some of them still might, I have no idea what I like or what I want to do.
Yeah.
But many of them kind of, already have thoughts, right?
Right.
Or have an idea.
Right. I want to ask you, Dayger. I know that you studied marketing and business, right?
Right.
So are you a university student at the moment?
I'm a recent graduate. Just graduated last year.
Okay.
Yeah, just graduated last year. And came
from university?
Yeah, from university.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Where'd you go to university?
I went to Nottingham Trent University in
Wonderful.
the UK.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It was very, very much different experience. Going to different country, Cayman, cold. It was getting used to it, but I loved it. Yeah.
What high school did you go here?
I went to John Gray High School. Yeah.
And what was, as a student at John Gray, what was your understanding of the financial industry at that time?
Oh yeah, it was a very much hard concept to grasp at that point. It was most it's something similar to business. What exactly is finance? I think naturally it just came along when the more you got into the financial industry, the more you learn about it, especially in high school. I got a lot more experience along the way as well. So just along the way, just what exactly I could grasp by that point. Yeah. So.
But you were studying marketing and business development, right?
Correct. So
when it comes to you being in high school, did you know at the time what you wanted your career path to be?
I actually, at that point, probably not. I'm going to be honest. But along the way, I got a natural passion for marketing. I like creating, I like designing, I like the creative aspect of just having marketing to people and talking to people. And along the way, I just find this is actually the right path for me. And that just came along with also just more internships, more experiences that I got, even with Cayman Finance right now. Yeah.
So you applied for an internship opportunity at Cayman Finance.
Correct. Yes.
What drove you to do that? Because often when I think about marketing, I'm a marketer, right, but I don't always pair it with finance.
Correct.
I know that they need a lot of help, I want to say, especially on the PR side of it when it comes to the marketing.
Right.
But you're more of a creative when you say you like to do design, right? So when it came to choosing internships for you, what drove you to go with Cayman Finance and apply for their internship?
Yeah, definitely. So I know, as Danielle said, the Cayman Finance is more of the membership, more community engagement. So marketing naturally comes along with that as well, and just working with Alana as well. It's such a dynamic learning experience, working experience as well. There's always something different to do, which I personally loved. So along the way, just with either if it's member events or career fairs, it's something that's more natural to my heart. I just engage with the community, and that just if something like that happens, I have to sign up for it. So
you're a people person as well.
Yeah, I love just making sure helping people or making other people feel better. I think that's the best thing about marketing as well. You just talking to people. Yeah.
Have you done marketing in any other industry so far?
Yeah, I've did internships at HSA with their marketing department as well.
Okay.
And along the way, I've also worked with Connect by Nova with their marketing department. Along the way, I've always take every opportunity to have with marketing. Yeah.
Okay, so you're seeing the big differences.
Yeah, all the different kind of sides of marketing.
Yeah, from the medical side with HSA to recruitment with Nova,
right,
and now finance side.
Each department has so much different work ethics and different experiences as well. So the more experiences, better. Yeah.
Do you see yourself staying as a marketer within the financial industry?
I can definitely see that. I can, if hopefully an option open up.
If the offer's right.
Yeah, if it's right there. But yeah, no, definitely. Every opportunity I get, I definitely take it. And, just getting the chance to work with Danielle and everybody else that came out finance has been so helpful. They're so incredibly helpful and just gave me more confidence in myself and, my career paths for the future. Yeah.
All right. We're going to go to a commercial break right now. And when we come back, we will continue the conversation about Cayman Finance's LEAD program.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market. Cayman Brand Source Home Gallery is having an appliance inventory reduction sale with up to 50% off selected appliances and 25% off all kitchen packages until March 31st. Enjoy discounts on luxury brands like Foster, Milano, and more. Refrigerators, wine coolers, and barbecue grills are all discounted. All appliances are included in the sale. Don't miss out. Shop now at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, and save big before prices rise in April. Call 623-5000 for more details or visit us today and take advantage of these incredible deals. Act fast before the best items are gone. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz. I am your host, Kathy Miller, and I am sitting in studio with, from Cayman Finance, Danielle Hennings, Associate Director, and intern, Dayger Martinez-Taylor. So we were just talking about Dayger's experience as a just graduated university in marketing and business, and his experience at Cayman Finance as a intern there. And, you know, we said if the offer is good enough, he might stay in the in the finance world doing some marketing.
Yeah, definitely.
We will soon see. You'll have to update with us in the future. Yes. All right, Danielle, can you walk us through the structure of the LEAD program? What can students expect in terms of the workshops and the mentorships and the internship opportunities?
Yes, for sure, definitely. So the workshop officially kicks off, the program kicks off on the 29th of April for our launch event, where all our mentors and mentees are invited and they meet each other for the first time. The very next week, they start their workshop. So there's two options. The students only have to go to one, but for 1 hour per week, where the first one is an introduction to financial services. Then the following week, we talk about investment funds. Then we go into detail about trusts, banking, insurance, reinsurance, all the kind of different sectors that make up the financial services industry for 8 weeks throughout the months of May and June. During that same time, for 1 hour per week, they are meeting with their mentors, who are individuals who work in the industry, who have volunteered to serve as a mentor, and just want to share kind of their experience with the young person, with the student. And so the idea is that they can talk about what they learned in the workshop that week, as well as other, activities or suggested topics, just to get to know each other a little bit better. That helps prepare them then for their work placement opportunity. So May and June, workshops and mentorship. Then during the month of July or August, it's a 4-week paid work placement at one of our member firms. So Cayman Finance, we have over 100 members, and several of them have already said yes to providing an opportunity for a high school student to come and work with them for 4 weeks.
Would it just be a high school student? Does it include college or university students?
So it's geared at high school students, but that being said, I have had a few applications from students who perhaps missed it while they were in high school and they're still studying locally and they'd like to participate. So from my perspective, I'm happy to take up to 50. That's what we've capped it at this year. So I'm not going to turn somebody away if I've got capacity. That being said, if I have 50 high schoolers, since it's geared at them, I might have to in that case. But at the moment, there are still spots available for people to sign up.
Well, 50 is a pretty good number, I would say.
Yeah.
And the workshops, you said they're about 8 weeks long.
That's right.
Before they get placed in the paid internship.
That's correct.
And how often, I might have missed it, so how often or how many times per week do they go to these workshops?
So once per week, but there's 2 options. So you can go on a Tuesday or on a Friday at different times. And so it's depending on their school schedule. Also, students have exams at this time of year. They might have external examination. So we offer the 2 options. So hopefully they can at least go to one of them.
And how much of the day is dedicated towards these workshops?
1 hour.
1 hour. Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's just an hour. So it's like if you get there, get there a few minutes early. We do our best to finish on time.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I thought it was going to be a full day, half day.
No.
Okay, got it. And
we could probably do so much more. I'm always kind of approached with, can we do this? Can we show them this? Can we do that? I'm like, we are limited by the amount of time we have.
I almost feel like it could be part of a school curriculum in a sense with all the aspects that you're teaching within finance, being that finance is perhaps our biggest contributor to the Cayman's economy, right? And there's so much for us to know. The basics in high school, at least when I went, I don't think it's changed entirely too much. You had electives to do accounting. Other than that, there was nothing else that you were learning with finance. So you weren't learning kind of household budgets. You weren't learning about investments. You weren't learning what a hedge fund is. I'm still confused about what a hedge fund is.
Honestly.
So I almost feel like, especially in Cayman, to have that understanding, that could be built more into the curriculum if it's not something that's happening already.
I couldn't agree with you more. We piloted a program last semester called Fundamentals of Financial Services, geared at Year 9 students. So not people who are about to graduate, but students before they make their subject choices. And the idea is to introduce them to what is an economy, what is money, what is a market, because what is a company in terms of a piece of paper, not a brick and mortar, because how do you expect your students to understand funds? And we're the largest, domicile for hedge funds outside of the United States. How do you expect them to understand that if they don't have the foundations, right? So absolutely. I'm actually, I'm going to my last session in the BRAC next week. It'll be the 4th session with the students over there, and we're going to talk about what is a market. So absolutely, in the absence of this not being in curriculum, we've seen this opportunity, and so we're going to go back out to the schools and hopefully get, a bunch of volunteers to be able to roll out the curriculum, we're calling it, that would then build on itself year over year. But exactly like you said, preparing them for, even if you don't work in the industry in Cayman, you now have an appreciation for its importance or what it actually does.
Or an understanding of it. Yeah, we're a finance country, but I don't really know nothing about it. To be able to carry these conversations, to be able to shape their minds is a huge thing, and give that foundational understanding of this is what finance is. That's a huge step, and in my era, we didn't have that. So I think it's a brilliant initiative that Cayman Finance is offering. What's the application process for the high school students?
For sure. So we have a link on our website. So caymanfinance.ky/lead. You scroll to the bottom of that page and click Apply Now. It's a short application, a type form survey where they just have to give, their name, contact details, parents' contact information. You take what you're interested in, what your availability is for workshops. So we actually say, workshops are taking place at these 2 times. Which one can you attend? And then finally, you write a few sentences about why you would like to participate in the program. So it doesn't take long for them to complete, but it captures some key information for us in terms of when we're reviewing, and then ultimately pairing them with a mentor who hopefully, actually works in the area you're interested in. That's the ideal.
Is there any necessary requirements a student must have? For example, must they be of a certain grade level or grade point average, anything like that?
Yes, there is a minimum GPA requirement and like a minimum kind of number expected passes. The GPA is 2.5, and in terms of passes, expecting to get C grades in your courses. But I think even more important than that is that the student needs to have excellent behavior. It needs to, be a good citizen of the school. I email all the teachers to say, these are the students. Would you recommend them for the program? Do they meet our minimum requirements? So the GPA isn't actually in the form. We don't mind specifically what it is, but your teacher will confirm to us that you meet the minimum, and that you're gonna make a good participant in the program. I think that's really important.
Have you ever had to turn applicants down?
I have, yes. Yeah. But teacher did not recommend that particular student because of different reasons.
Okay. Well, hopefully they were able to improve on whatever those reasons were that the teacher might have said, I don't think they'd be a right fit for this time, and able to apply in the next year.
And I think what we want to do is we want all sorts of students to apply. We don't want students who are only, getting 4.0 GPAs or the really high flyers. I think we want to show that this industry, this opportunity, this program is for everybody. And it's an opportunity to learn about the industry and maybe, see yourself in it one day.
All right. So the application period, when up until what date do they have to
Friday.
apply?
So
this Friday?
Yeah, this Friday.
Okay. All right.
The 28th of March at 5 o'clock. We're gonna close it off.
We're closing it off. Okay. Well, good thing we're having this interview today then, because we're starting April 29th with the workshop.
That's right. Exactly. All right. Yeah.
All right. I remember because it's the day before Election Day. So
mine
is burned into that number's burned into my head right now. All right. It's 10 years.
Right.
So for the LEAD program. So if we can talk about what might be involved with your 10-year anniversary.
Sure, yeah.
Let us know what these details are.
Okay, happy to. So the program launched in 2015 and under a different name at the time, and it ran successfully through 2019, and then there was a pause from 2020 to 2022 with COVID, picked it back up in 2023 and rebranded and called it LEAD, and now here we are in 2025. But that first cohort of students that went through in 2015 are now working in the industry in some cases. So this summer, I think August and September, we're going to do a campaign kind of highlighting some of those stories of, there's 3 young ladies in particular who went through the program. It kind of changed their paths, and what they're doing now as a direct result.
Give us more detail. I want to hear some of the success stories. I think we all do. So.
Yeah. So 2 of the young ladies are lawyers, and they work for firms that are Cayman Finance members. So they work in the industry. One of them, she said she was going to be a software developer. Well, that was her kind of path. And then she was paired with a mentor who was a lawyer, who just kind of opened her up to this whole new world and what her opportunities could be. The other young lady, who was also a lawyer, she said she was going to work in human resources. But then again, she was paired with a lawyer, and she was like, I don't want to do law. That's not for me. My sister does that. And he kind of showed her, well, you don't have to be the same lawyer as your sister. Do you know how many different opportunities you can have and there can be for you? And then finally, the third young lady who we're going to highlight, she works for SEMA, or the Monetary Authority. She works for the regulator. So she took a path to enter the industry, and now she's working in compliance and regulation, which I think is really cool and interesting. And that being said, that program had maybe 50 students in it. So we're just looking at 3 of them that are actually in the industry. Several of them probably went on to do other things and work in other areas. But I think, so Dayger actually worked on this project for me. He went and searched everybody on LinkedIn, found out where they were at, did an email to find out, would you be willing to come and, do a video? And we want to kind of highlight the LEAD program and the impact it had on you, and what positive conversations I had when I was talking to them. I got chills, right? When they talked about the actual impact it had on them. And I thought, wow, obviously something's being done right. We've got to keep it up. And I think for me, it's going to be important for the current high schoolers to see them and say, wow, that could be me in 10 years. That could be my future. And so we're excited. We're focusing on recruitment at the moment, but we're definitely going to highlight our 10-year kind of cohort in a few months' time.
And Dayger, how does that feel for you when you were reaching out to the past applicants or the people that were in the LEAD program and hearing their stories? How did that feel for you, knowing that, okay, you're an intern and you're doing this and it's part of your marketing journey right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely gave me more encouragement, just how much of a journey each person, went on. It definitely feels like, oh, I can definitely do something like that too. I could be a marketing manager in the future, who knows? So it definitely gave me more encouragement and gave me more confidence in myself. This program definitely helps people, and even just getting to participate in helping to find these people who were participating 10 years ago was very much more encouragement to myself as well. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to go to our next commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap. We got a few more questions to ask and to learn about the LEAD program.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. During the last Lionistic year, they successfully carried out community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, sight screenings, spelling bees, swim meets, and their community food pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years. The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I am your host, Kathy Miller. And in studio, I have with me Danielle Hennings, Associate Director at Cayman Finance, and Dayger Martinez-Taylor, a current intern at Cayman Finance. We are talking about the LEAD program. And right before the break, we were hearing some of the success stories of past participants in the LEAD program and how there's a project that they're doing at Cayman Finance right now. Dayger he's doing marketing. He's on a marketing path right now in his career, and he was able to reach out to hopefully almost all of the past participants to get their stories, see where they are in their career right now. And I am curious, out of the past participants, have any of them, I guess, returned the love and have become mentors now for this program?
So I'm sure there are, but and I think last year there was a mentor who actually participated maybe in 2016. In terms of who we reached out to and who we're going to highlight this summer, it sounds like they're giving it back kind of within their own firms in terms of being a mentor to maybe interns as they come through or new hires. But absolutely, yes, I'd love for them to join as mentors in our particular LEAD program too. I think any opportunity to give back and to pay it forward when somebody's invested that time in you, that it's one of the greatest things you can give.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I'd like to see that. So part of that LEAD program is the mentorship aspect, right? So I understand that you're also looking for mentors or professionals to sign up as mentors.
That's correct. Yes, we are. We just launched mentor recruitment, I want to say, just over a week ago. So we went out to our membership, our individuals who had signed up for the LEAD list to kind of be the first ones to know when recruitment started, and included it in our newsletter last week. And now it's open to any Cayman Finance member who would like to participate. So of course, it is a commitment, but we've had a great response from our members willing to support the program and pay it forward. For example, they probably think back to people who have impacted them and are looking forward to kind of inspiring the next generation.
What kind of qualities are you looking for from your mentors?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, it's important that they are flexible and understanding, and that they remember, like they are so far along in their careers that they kind of go back to when they were that age and give the students grace, because for me, I have high expectations of the students. I expect them to show up on time, to be dressed appropriately, to ask good questions. But they might need some pulling out of their shells in some cases, and you have to think how intimidating it can be for them in that kind of situation, engaging with somebody who's, older than you, kind of more professional, more mature. And so I think for me, the mentors bringing that understanding and that willingness, and know that like they might have to work a little bit to get it out of them. I think that's important, that they're invested in making things better for the student and, just sharing their information with them. I think being open to questions and willing to share their stories, that's really what's gonna impact them.
I liked a key thing you said, which was remembering to give the students grace. I love to say that, period. We have to learn to give ourselves grace. And when we're working with people who are new to an industry and new to a role and just trying to learn the ropes, we can't expect them to know everything off the bat, right? So that also challenges you as a mentor or as a leader within that firm where you might have an intern that, okay, hold on. I've now got to kind of back it up. And allegedly, if you don't know how to teach something in the most simple terms, then you might not know exactly what you're doing either.
Right?
So I've heard. So I think when it comes to guiding interns and being a mentor, I think those are important qualities to have for sure. How much time commitment is expected for a mentor?
Definitely. So the mentoring sessions, so there's 8 of them throughout the months of May and June. But before that starts, we have a mentor orientation that our mentors go through. Their attendance at our launch event and our celebration event as well. The mentors do have to do Darkness to Light training, Stewards of Children training. So that's even before they meet with their student. We send weekly communications from Cayman Finance. So preparing for your mentee-mentor meeting, I think, and the time that takes. What we've added this summer is also doing 2 mentoring sessions during the summer. So instead of just stopping at the end of June and saying, okay, we're done, I'd like the mentors to reconnect with their mentees while they're doing their work placement. So again, 2 more sessions in July or August, that depending on when the student's work placement is taking place, but just for them to check in and see how things are going, touch base. Ideally, the student will have a new mentor at their organization that they're working at, or a buddy, maybe an ambassador, somebody they're kind of tagged to. But I think they've just spent 8 weeks with an individual. So I think checking in and seeing how things are going will be beneficial.
I think so, especially when you're doing a paid work internship. It's a little... you're thrown into the water right then. You got to learn how to swim. So I think having that mentor, especially during that time, is key. Because there's going to be a lot of questions. And and you've already developed a bit of a relationship with somebody that you can trust, right? So you're looking to turn to them to get that guidance again. So I think those are great sessions to add towards during that work placement that you're giving everybody who does sign up for the LEAD program and makes it through. What are the skills that you're hoping the students are going to walk away with when they're going through the LEAD program?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing is not the technical knowledge that they're going to gain, which they will, but just by going through the workshops and like learning about the industry. What's even more important to me is their ability to interact with others, to interact with professionals. So they practice that on a weekly basis with their mentor, developing those soft skills. I want them to work on their email and their communication with their mentor as well. So it's almost what takes place outside of the workshop. I think, kind of time management, being responsible, and if you can't make a mentoring session, you're communicating that. If you can't make a workshop, you communicate that to me as well. So these things that are just expected when you start working, but we might not necessarily, it's not like book smart, right? Like we don't necessarily teach that in a textbook. Those are the things that I think they're going to take away from this program. I actually heard from some students when I went to Cayman Prep to speak to the new students, and the best thing I did was allowing them to share their experience. So each of them, they got up in front of their classmates and they said what they took away from the program. And for one of them, she was like, the networking opportunities that we had at the launch event, at the celebration event. And she was like, I have this mentor now when I'm looking for an internship next summer. Who am I going to talk to? Who am I going to call? So it's like building those relationships and meeting people. I think that's something that they're going to take away, not necessarily a skill, but definitely a takeaway.
I think that's a skill. Networking is a skill.
Networking is a skill. You're right. You're absolutely right. So even just being exposed to that environment as a 16-year-old, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. What's your take on it, Dayger?
Yeah, definitely. Like the LEAD program, any mentorship program. My advice would be for them to just, go in with a set of goals, SMART goals. What you hope to achieve or accomplish when you're going to these programs. Of course, it's important, just to ask as much as questions as you possibly can. Engage with your mentors, build that kind of connection so that you can actually, have that kind of networking skills as well. Even if you're not sure which profession or which industry that you want to work in, I feel like going to these programs such as LEAD can allow you to develop skills and your strengths and your weaknesses. You figure out your weaknesses as well, even
right.
And that makes you just to understand what is the right direction for your career path in the future.
A conversation can open up so many doors in your mind and just in reality here. It really can. And if you don't participate in these programs, you don't know what you don't know. So in my opinion, the more you find out what you don't want to do, what you don't like, the more you can move in the direction of where you want to go. Absolutely. And you're going to move towards something you do like. You realize, okay, this is not for me. Let me try this out. But if you never figure it out, you're just kind of never going to know, right? Yeah. So these kind of opportunities, I think, are great for young minds to get their feet wet, to understand the opportunities that are out there and to see where possibilities could lead them, where a career path could lead them. 10-year celebration. I don't know if you guys are doing anything special. I can't remember if we totally touched on that. So if you, remind me, because clearly I forgot. So let me know what you're doing for the 10-year celebration. And then we got maybe about a minute after that just to wrap up and remind people of the application programs for the students and for mentors.
Yes, for sure. So 10 years since the initial cohort went through, we'll do a separate campaign during the summer in August or September, encouraging, our next cohort of students to get ready to apply and see themselves in the industry in the future, highlighting those individuals that went through the program and it made a real impact on their career. I think you're gonna like to see those stories and to hear from them.
Okay. Now we know that April 29th is when you're going to start the workshop for LEAD, right? And the application deadline again is?
Friday, the 28th of March. That's right.
This Friday, everybody, the 28th of March. That's this Friday. Jeez, time is going fast. And where do they go for the application?
So you can visit caymanfinance.ky/lead, and you scroll all the way to the bottom, click apply now for the students. For the students.
And if somebody's looking to be a mentor, what is their sign-up process?
Yeah, so that's not on the website, but you can send us an email at lead, L-E-A-D, at caymanfinance.ky, and I'll send you the link to that survey.
Okay, wonderful. Well, if there's any lasting words you want to leave with people, if people want to find out more information about the program, social media accounts, anything like that, let us know.
Yeah. Follow us on social, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We'll continue posting about LEAD and mentor recruitment as well as student recruitment. You can find us on our website. We have an inquiries form too.
This is follow Cayman Finance, right?
Cayman Finance, yes. Right. Cayman Finance. On all of, I think we have other social media as well, but those are the three I think we use most often.
Right. Yeah. If not, your main one will lead you to the other ones as well. Connection. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I appreciate learning about the LEAD program and how well you've done. Congratulations on 10 years. It's a great accomplishment. Thank you. We're hoping to get 50 students at least
absolutely
placed, right? So.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank
and we'll
you.
hope to get an update maybe in the summer.
Thanks so much, Kathy.
We're going to go to the 9 a.m. headline news, and right after that, we're going to have some open line on the buzz.
Yesterday,
today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The National Conservation Council's first planned meeting of the year has been postponed. During the previous meeting, the council set tomorrow as the meeting date. However, due to a potential judicial review of recent cabinet appointments to the NCC, meetings and decisions have been, quote, temporarily delayed, according to one member. The White House confirms that a journalist was inadvertently added to a secret group chat where senior U.S. officials discussed plans for a strike against a Houthi group in Yemen. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic received an invitation to the chat on the Signal app from an account labeled White House National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. In the chat, Vice President J.D. Vance seemingly says he, quote, hates bailing Europe out again. The defense secretary apparently replies to Vance with, quote, I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. Pete Hegseth, who is allegedly to have shared details of military strikes in the chat, tells reporters, quote, nobody was texting war plans. U.S. President Donald Trump says he, quote, doesn't know anything about the group chat. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I am your host, Kathy Miller, and we're going to have some open line, which is a rare occasion on The Buzz. So if there's some thoughts you want to share with me, a discussion you want to have, you can WhatsApp call us or text us at 925-3261. You can call our toll-free number for Flow customers. That's 1-800-534-8255. Or you can call 949-6990 or 949-8037. I know a little bit earlier, around 8:20 or so, 8:20, 8:30, we had a gentleman call in via WhatsApp asking about price gauging. So it wasn't about Cayman Finance, so it wasn't a topic that I could get into with him right then and there. But if that listener is still tuned into Radio Cayman, I do invite you to call the show and let me know what's on your mind, because it sounded like an interesting one. But there's a few things I want to touch on in the meantime. We had quite an active weekend in the Cayman Islands, and I guess some of the biggest news was the murder that occurred. So there was a 33-year-old woman from Bodden Town who was arrested on suspicion of murder on Sunday, March 23rd, after a man was found behind the F&J building on Mary Street. The victim has been identified as 63-year-old Lincoln Silburn, and police were called on the scene around 4:20 a.m. on Sunday after the body was discovered. I was quite shocked to learn about this. And, you know, there's a lot of different stories going around about the relationship between the two. You know, that's all rumors for me, so I'm not going to touch on those things. But it's also always a pretty shocking thing when you hear about a murder, and, you know, it's a 30-year age difference there. So I'd like to know, I guess, I think we're all curious to know what kind of drove that to happen. What's the story behind that? But investigators are encouraging witnesses to come forward and assist with the investigation. If anyone was a witness to this incident or has any information about the incident, police are encouraging people to call 911 or the RCIPS Major Incident Room on 649-2930. That's 649-2930. Anonymous tips can be provided directly to the RCIPS via their confidential tip line at 949-7777. That's 949-7777. If you have any tips and you want to be anonymous, you can provide that at their confidential tip line, and that is about the murder that occurred in Georgetown, right in town on Mary Street, where 63-year-old Lincoln Silburn was found early Sunday morning, and a 33-year-old woman from Bottomtown was arrested on suspicion of that murder. So to move on to a less grim note, the Cayman National Cultural Foundation capped off K-Fest. K-Fest took place this entire month of March with Red Sky at Night this past Saturday, March 22nd. I want to give a big congrats to Cassandra Shea and her team for pulling off a record-breaking event. I heard Cassandra say on our news segment yesterday that there was over 50 registered vendors for Red Sky at Night, and that included artists, artisans, entertainers, craftsmen, and demos, and attendees also danced the night away with varied musical entertainment, which included rhythms from steel pans to Cayman's beloved Swanky Kitchen Band. I was so bummed that I could not attend Red Sky at Night. I had a different birthday party to attend, and we had a fire going, so I guess we had a bit of our own Red Sky going on in the eastern side of the island. But if you were at Red Sky and you experienced it, let me know what your thoughts are and how that night went. Let us know. But a big congrats to the Cayman National Cultural Foundation, because they really did put on a pretty stellar event. So, and a whole month of K-Fest. I did attend one of their events earlier in March. I think it was almost kicking off K-Fest, and it was about the business of culture. So it was two different panel discussions that were going on, and the discussion that I attended had different kind of artists on it. So from dance entertainers to designers, it was a really beautiful discussion to hear about how you can make a business through creative works. So whether it was as a dancer, as an artist, as a creative person, as a videographer, anything like that, it was about understanding and learning the business aspect of it. Because although Cayman's economy largely is fueled by the law and finance sector, and we just had Cayman Finance on here, and we were learning about what Cayman Finance does in the community to help drive the finance sector and educate the younger people to get into these jobs. Frankly, not everybody is interested in doing finance or law. And there's a lot of creatives out there, and I think for a very long time, the creatives in Cayman were stifled under the impression that you can't really have a career in a creative industry. And perhaps at one time in Cayman that was a much more difficult thing to do, but I think we've been seeing a lot more doors and opportunities open up for those who are in the creative industries. And we see it a lot in marketing. It takes a creative mind, it takes a strategic mind as well. But we're seeing a lot of that from marketing. We're seeing a lot of that, what musical entertainers can do, how they can monetize with their money, how they can get into publishing and understanding how publishing works, how they can be offering workshops with songwriting or being part of larger events where they can offer their expertise. We're seeing a lot of content creators in the Cayman Islands. There is something called the creators economy, and I'm going to get the number a little bit wrong, but I think it's just under $530 billion, not million, but $530 billion is supposed to be I know Paul's looking at me like, what? 530 billion? This sounds like something I want to get into. That's supposed to be what that market is forecast, what it's going to be worth by 2030. So if you are somebody who loves being on social media, who loves creating videos, sometimes we call them influencers, but sometimes you don't even see the people behind these things. For tourism, for example, I'm going to use a couple of people here that I know in Cayman. I'm not going to call their names, but they do amazing videos of the Cayman Islands and showcasing how beautiful Cayman is. So when I talk about the the creators economy and the fact that it's an economy that's projected to be valued at just under $530 billion by 2030, when we're seeing younger, not even younger people, but anywhere from your Gen Z to millennials, or perhaps even baby boomers, when we're seeing them create these videos and that are going viral, they're getting a lot of looks, a lot of likes, a lot of shares on social media. And let's say it's about a product like the Cayman Islands. That only helps boost our tourism here. It brings a lot more eyes here. And there already are young people who are doing this in the Cayman Islands. I say young because those are the ones that I'm seeing. Some millennials and some Gen Zs are doing that right now. They're seeing a different path forward with what you can do. And with the Cayman National Cultural Foundation, I believe that their work that they're doing to support creatives, their grant programs that they're doing, doesn't matter what kind of creative you are, they are offering support out there. And we are seeing that you can change your career paths and have a sustainable future if you are a creative person. I know a young lady who is a creator or an influencer, we could say, but she does amazing things with brands like Target, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Cruises, Sephora. So for all our ladies that love makeup out there, she has huge global brand deals, and she just has to talk about their products on social media and do videos. And she is killing it. So to see somebody like that create a career that's just via social media, and she's from the Cayman Islands, and she is booming out there, anything is possible. So I'm very appreciative of how the Cayman National Cultural Foundation is helping to drive and support these creatives in whatever their endeavors might be. So if you came out to K-Fest at all, at any of the events, there was so much to experience. And if you missed it this year, well, it's over for now because we ended with Red Sky at Night on Saturday. But definitely check out K-Fest next year. And throughout the year, the Cultural Foundation puts on so many great events. Now, one of the other big things that I wanted to get into was about our debates that we're holding on Radio Cayman. And as a reminder to everybody else out there, the Chamber of Commerce also holds their forums, which are pretty much nightly, up until, I think it's a Wednesday. I should be looking on my calendar. It's a Wednesday. The second Wednesday, I think. It's either the 7th or the 9th. I keep getting it mixed up. And that's going to be their party leader debate. So while they have forums, which are almost nightly, of all the different electoral districts in the Cayman Islands, last night they had one for Town West candidates. And that included candidates Heyman Rankin with the Cayman Islands National Party, independent and incumbent Chris Saunders, and Osborne Bodden with the Caymanian Community Party. So that was the latest forum that was held by the Chamber of Commerce. And you can search YouTube if you want to check that out. It's very important, while we are also at Radio Cayman holding our own debates, which is different from a forum. Some people can't grasp that concept, but it is different from a forum. A debate allows the candidates in the room to reflect on what the previous candidate said and respond to it. And this is an example of a real life situation that parliamentarians will have to do once they are in the House. So if you have a bill or a policy, anything that you are presenting, and you need to speak about it, and somebody maybe perhaps from the opposition is against it, you have to be able to defend your position. And so that's what the debates are teaching and giving us the experience of. The Chamber of Commerce's forum has questions that they ask the candidates, which all candidates ask or answer these questions. And there's no debate process. I believe at one time they might have had a opportunity where candidates could respond, but their format is different from ours. Both the forums with the Chamber of Commerce and the debates on Radio Cayman are excellent ways in which you can find out about your candidates. These are two different resources that are providing information to voters, and not just voters, but residents of the Cayman Islands. So whether you're a voter or not, and you want to know who's going to be representing in your country, and you want to hear what they have to say, and you want to hear their ideas and their plans, or perhaps lack of, because often you're going to hear something and you're going to be like, oh, maybe this person really isn't that prepared or doesn't really know, is that somebody I want to elect into office, or is that a representative I want to see from me that's going to fight for the issues and concerns in Cayman. Last night on the Radio Cayman debates, I just want to say a huge shout out to our moderators first of all. So Orrick Connor, who has been available for us on so many different things lately. Thank you so much to Orrick Connor, and to Dion Anglin, our sports reporter. I think this was the first time that Dion did something on the more political realm, and I'm extremely proud of both of them. They absolutely both killed it as moderators for the debates. And we featured last night Georgetown West and Georgetown East. If you missed that debate, you can go to our YouTube page. That debate is up there. You can hear what candidates from each electoral constituency had to say, although not all candidates showed up. I'm going to always say that this is a mistake. I understand if you have prior meetings, particularly for yourself planned, but if it's not a meeting, it blows me away that they don't participate. And I say that because while you may seem or think that maybe you're seasoned, perhaps you're an incumbent and you've got it locked down, that's not always the case. We have seen upsets in elections. And for candidates that we don't really see you in the community that much, we don't know about you. You might have ran a few times, you have not gone in, you've not been elected. These are great opportunities for you to show who you are, share your voice, share your plans, share your ideas, be able to respond articulately, intelligently, hopefully, to the questions that are presented to you. It gives us an idea of who you are as a representative for the Cayman Islands. It helps all the voters in a democratic process of voting you in, should you be somebody that speaks to the needs of that constituency. So last night, the candidates for Georgetown West that attended were Tyree Hernandez, an independent, and we, as an independent, we don't hear and see as much from independents because they're not necessarily funded as much as the parties are. So for the independents to have these opportunities, it's great to see them out. And for Tyree to come out last night and speak, he was really favorable on prison reform. And he had a lot of great ideas there. So absolutely check out some of the, I say check out the whole debate that we held last night via our YouTube channel. But hear what his ideas were. We also had Craig Marin of the Cayman Islands National Party. And we also had Hunter Walton, an independent. So that was for Georgetown West. Those were the three candidates that came in. The only candidate for Georgetown West that did not participate in last night's debate was Perlina McGaw-Lumsden, a candidate for the PPM. I'm not sure entirely why she was not able to make it, but she was not able to make it. So hopefully we can hear from Perlina in the future. And then for Georgetown East, the candidates that participated were Oscar Bodden, independent, and Emily DeCou of the Caymanian Community Party. The two other candidates for Georgetown East that also did not make it were Vassal or Bud Johnson, and he is with the Cayman Islands National Party. I'd received apologies from his party a few weeks ago. And then from the PPM, Mr. Roy McTaggart, incumbent. So those were the two from Georgetown East that were not able to join last night's debate on Radio Cayman. But again, hopefully we have the opportunity to hear from them in the future. We are not rescheduling debates that may have been canceled, only if we have far enough advance that people can't, all of a sudden all the people in a particular constituency cannot make it, then we can reach out. But we are in the heat of election time, and we understand that people's schedules are busy. I do understand that there's been some thoughts that we were not reaching out to people, and I wanna let people know, our listeners know, that parties were emailed, and what independents we knew were running were emailed about our debates in February. we have responses and admissions of receiving these emails. So for those who might say they didn't know about it and you're part of a party, we can't help that that wasn't communicated to you. But it was sent, and we know it was received. Once you respond, that's an admission to receiving the information. So work with us. We're trying to work with you as much as we can. And again, this is all a part of informing the Cayman Islands on who you are, what you stand for, why people should vote for you. And last night was a great example of the democratic process in the sense of giving people a chance to speak on the different issues that were presented to them. We had a lot of different ideas come out last night. And I'd have to say, I want to say the most, I don't know if it's controversial or the part that stuck out to me the most that I was like, nah, man, you can't be serious. And it was Hunter Walton when he was in here for Georgetown West. And we were talking about the traffic problem. And I'm surprised this point was not refuted heavily, because I know I was in the back being like, what? Throwing my arms up in the air. What's going on? But Hunter said, to alleviate the traffic problem, maybe expats shouldn't have cars. And I was in an uproar. And I was waiting for one of the other candidates to just jump on that. But the debate was respectful. And it would be, I think we want to see a little bit more action in that sense. But that was one of the big points that came out last night. There was also talk about housing. And I know we were speaking about affordable housing. And it was Oscar Bodden, I believe, who said, yes, we do need to build up. We do have limited land. But he also pointed out that when it comes to building up and building apartments, that trying to keep these apartments at 2 stories was crucial, because anything above 2 stories means that sprinkler systems would need to be, by law, I guess, sprinkler systems, and I'm not sure what else, would need to be included in the building structures. And that would bring prices way up and insurance up even more. So I looked at that and I said, okay, so these are reasons for perhaps not wanting to go higher than 2 levels. And I mean, I've heard people say 25. I heard somebody else had suggested 50. 50 floors. I don't think we need 50 floors in Cayman. I could be wrong. What do y'all think about that? Nah, Paul's shaking his head like, nah, we don't need 50 floors in Cayman. We're going to be looking over to the BRAC if that happens, I guess. So we had some really great thoughts that were shared with us last night during Radio Cayman's debates. I do look forward to what Wednesday night is going to bring, because we have Georgetown Central and we also have West Bay West and West Bay South. So that's going to be a hot little night on Wednesday night, and I'm looking forward to that. I believe the moderators for that evening are going to be our news reporter Giovanni Ebanks, or Jevy as we affectionately call him, and Teresa Pitcairn. That will be on Wednesday evening. Those debates kick off at 7:30 p.m. and go till 10 p.m. because we do have another show for the health of it that runs until from 7 to 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday nights. So hang out with us. Check out the Radio Cayman debates. Make sure you're also tuning into the Chamber of Commerce forums. If you can't listen that night, you can always go back to the YouTube channels and listen to what the candidates have to say there. It is so important for you as voters to tune in to both of these events so you can make a better, more informed decision as you make your way to the polls on Election Day, which is April 30th. And with that, I'm going to be signing off on the business, look at me on the business buzz, on the buzz for today, Tuesday, March 25th. I look forward to being with you all on Wednesday, or Thursday morning, I should say. Thursday morning, usually the first half hour of the buzz, it's going to be a candidate's corner. So we're going to be speaking with candidates. In April, we're opening up that to be a little bit longer. So we're going to still have a lot more talk with candidates during the month of April. But at least the first half hour, you're going to be learning a little bit more about your candidates. And it's a public service that we're offering with those free interviews in the morning on the buzz. And come hang out with your girl. Send me your comments give your calls. Let us know what you think. And it was great to have you listening with us this morning. I'm sure you heard Hunter Walton this morning, who's an independent candidate for Georgetown West. And we also had Mr. Kenneth Bryan call in. He is an incumbent and candidate for Georgetown Central. We talked with Cayman Finance about their LEAD program, and now I'm just about to wrap up the open line segment, so thanks for hanging out with me. Wow, I can't believe I almost just talked for 30 minutes straight. I even missed my own little commercial break. Look at that. So I'm going to leave you now with our commercials. Thank you to our sponsors and our listeners. Have a beautiful Tuesday.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse